So therefore, now that you have better knowledge, you have better understanding how investment should be bought, I think you can educate others, right? You can explain to others how you should be buying properties. Don't go for land house packages. Don't buy townhouses. Not going to give you the outcome, right? So that brings us to the actual property that we really bought for you. So just so I can run the numbers with you, I believe that the contract was signed at 351,000 for you. And
correct. Initially, it was signed at 351.
Yes, and that's a property which is an absolutely growing area in South Australia. And you have an independent house. That's a 3-bedroom property, 2-bathroom.
Correct.
Style property. Yeah. And what's the land size on that one? 700 plus or?
746.
Wow. Okay. And so that means a perfect rectangular block and very close to amenities as well. So what are the opportunities within the property, and what is your current rental on the property that you, after settlement, that you've seen?
So currently I'm drawing 375 per week. When I bought the property, it was already tenanted, and the current tenancy finishes in January 2025. And there's a potential for an appraisal. So an estimate would be around $400 per week starting January. So that's really amazing. The property itself, as you mentioned, it's a rectangle block. So definitely there's a potential for subdivision if I ever wanted to do it 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the line. FMRE also mentioned that there is a potential, after a couple of years, if I wanted to spend around $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 and renovate the house, they can be putting it into Airbnb and possibly even make even more cash flow from the property. So that is also an option. It's very close to amenities, as you said. One of the major schools in that suburb is around 20 meters from the house, 20, 30 meters. And then the grocery shops and everything, it's about 2 minutes, 3 minutes drive. So yeah, in a very good location, in a prime location, I would say.
Perfect. So, and that actually allows you to be able to bang on these more strategies that you can build on your same property. So renovations, subdivisions, maybe down the line, maybe Airbnb, as you say, for cash flow. This is all like saying, you have manufactured equity positions that you can activate if you really want to. Do nothing, that's okay. Your rent is phenomenal. So at 375, we bought the property for 346,000 with a rental of 375. That's 5.6% yield. That's what I was calculating. And now that your will change to 400 from January, will bring the yield to 6% in South Australia, which is phenomenal actually. And my key message is that people fret, okay, I've got too much negatively geared properties, which is true right now with high interest rate. But what starts to happen is once you start holding the property, rents go up, and then that negative portion starts to reduce quite significantly over a period of time. And we are hoping, of course, interest rates will come down at some point in time, which will even make it. So phenomenal, well done. And I think I want to congratulate you for taking action, having the belief system that I can do this, and actually being persistent to make this work for yourself, and believing in us to help you make this work for yourself is also a big thing, because not everyone can, lay their trust very easily on someone else to buy them one of the big investments they do in their life. So I really appreciate it. Thank you for that. Is there anything you would like to, 2 minutes, for people who are listening to this and, to inspire someone, those who haven't started their journey, what would you tell them?
Look, people who haven't started their journey, I would say, it's always good to invest in a property. The sooner you invest in a property, the better it is, because the property prices are only going to go up. I haven't seen or haven't heard in Australia, since I've been in Australia, I haven't heard any property value going down by a very significant amount. There might have been one or two places, in Victoria. I know about Victoria more because I used to live there. There are only one or two places in Victoria where the prices went down just for a little bit, but then it bounced back up again. So the sooner you, provided of course if you can afford it, the sooner you invest in a property, the better it is. And before you invest, do your research, just make sure you understand all the terminology. Just make sure you understand all the numbers. Just make sure what is your position at that point of time. You might have the money, like me, you might have the money, but that might not be the right time to invest in a property. So, and that's when people like buyer's agent, people like yourselves, they come into the picture. They calculate everything with you, because what you don't know, you don't know. There might be things that you are unaware of. And that's when, people like you can show us the correct path and tell us about the consequences. If you're okay to take the risk. If you are willing to take the risk, then go ahead. But if not, if you are a person who likes to play it safe like me, then it's better to be well educated and take an informed decision, I would say.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Bhardwaj. And actually, just also to let people know that you don't have to buy your first property before you can invest. You can continue renting if you're renting, and you can still go buy investment first before you buy a house. That's also a very normal strategy. A lot of people around the country do this all the time. In fact, to give an example, in New South Wales, it's really hard for people to secure property because nothing is available below 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 million, that too far off from CBD of Sydney. But people are able to secure the right type of properties, investments around the country, still continue renting. And when it's the right time, they buy their house as well. So I think investing is a good strategy for people.
I'm myself an investor. So, I had my own property in South Australia. But I turned that into an investment property, and then I started renting, and then I bought another investment property through you guys. So it's, what you're saying is 100% true. I think the rent that I'm paying compared to what I'm making from those properties is, much better rather than, staying in my own house and paying up the mortgage.
I think, would you say people get really emotional with what they're doing and buying? And one of the key advice is don't get emotional with what you're buying.
Yeah, it's very hard. I'll go back to my property that we bought in Victoria. My wife, she's still, she still regrets that we sold off our first property. But, I was attached to that property as well. But as you said, you can't be very emotional when it comes. You look at it as a business. Don't look at it as, if you ran your own business. If your business was making a lot of money for you, if you sold it off, might as well just sell it and start another business. So it's something like that. Well, people always get too attached to their property, which is not wrong. Definitely there's an emotional value, and people work hard to build their properties. But if you are an investor and if you want to make good money from investing into property, then try to be less emotional as possible.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here today. It is wonderful to hear your thoughts, and thank you for again engaging us. We're looking forward to continue to build the portfolio with you, and I really appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Anubhav. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.